I know when we were talking about it, I know you told me a little bit about, well, growing up, you were also homeschooled, right?
Yeah, for the last 4 years, I was homeschooled, and then some of my siblings, like my youngest brother, was just always been homeschooled.
So was that, when you did, because I got to be honest, when I met you in Indiana Bible College, right, and we were roommates, and you were sharing that with me, I guess I always had a different perspective of what homeschooling really looked like. And when I met you, I was like, man, Blake he's awesome. He's super social, super cool, super nice.
Like
I guess
a normal person.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, like back obviously when I was 17, 18, growing up, always going to public schools, when the topic came about homeschooling, right, I guess one of the topics was, well, does it become difficult for someone that goes through that to socialize, right? And I think when I met you, I was like, man, he's a perfect example that doesn't have to be an issue. And it made me think about, when I have a family, and here we are, I don't have a kid yet, but married, kids soon, let's say in the future. But
Right.
that decision when they grow up, are we going to homeschool them? Or are we going to send them to school? I would love to send them in reality to a school that one of our churches has. And I believe you went to one of those, right?
I did, yeah. So from kindergarten to 8th grade, through 8th grade, I went to Heritage Christian School.
Mm-hmm.
The principal was Brother David McDonald. He's the pastor of the church there in Bristol. I had a great time there. It was cool. It was a small school. So everybody knew everybody. My mom was my teacher for part of it, which I was kind of, if I got in trouble from my teacher, I also got in trouble by my mom at the same time. So
that's funny.
I remember one time in math class, I was not paying attention. I was sitting with DJ Williams, one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, not paying attention. He was trying to pay attention, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get hit in the forehead with a piece of chalk. My mom noticed that I was talking, gave me a minute to kind of pay attention, but I wasn't. So she threw a piece of chalk and hit me right in the forehead. But
that's funny.
So, but anyways,
couldn't get away with anything.
Yeah, no. So I went to that school from kindergarten to 8th grade, had a great time, great education there. My mom taught there for quite a while. My sister, my next youngest sibling, Kara, went there. My brother Travis went there for a couple of years, and then I believe Justin was. I think we were homeschooled by the time Justin was in school. He might have gone to kindergarten there. Mm-hmm. But so we had a great time there. The school is closed now. So starting in 9th grade is when I was homeschooled. We did the same curriculum for homeschooling as we did at the school in Bristol. So it really, academically wasn't that much of a change. The curriculum we did was designed for you to pretty much do by yourself anyways, for the most part, except I always needed help in math because I was terrible at math. So it gave us the opportunity to go on vacation when everyone else was still at school,
right,
or go visit my grandparents in Ohio whenever we wanted. We could just take our schoolwork with us. I loved it because I got up every day at like 10 o'clock, which, looking back, I kind of wish I was more like my brothers. Both of my brothers who were homeschooled, one of them is actually just started at IBC.
Yes, that's right.
Last month. My brothers did the opposite of what I did, and they would get up. Like my brother Travis would usually get up. He was always up before 5. He would get up, he would work out. He had a full-time job, so he would go to work and everything. I was on the other end of the spectrum, like typical teenager, just like, I'm just gonna sleep in. I would sometimes do, so like say on Monday, I would do Monday's work, and then I would do part of Tuesday's work too. So like Tuesday I didn't have as much to do, so I loved it. But yeah, I'll say this though about homeschooling. Mm-hmm. When you think of homeschoolers, a lot of times you think of just like weird kids, right? That like they're out at the store and they're looking around like, oh, there's other people, and there's like other cars, and there's like, stores, and like I've never seen this before. And definitely there are some really weird homeschooling kids, right? I'm probably a weird homeschooling kid. I just happened to get, my social traits from my mom, who's like very, very extroverted person. But I'll say this: homeschooling isn't for everybody, right? There's some kids that will thrive homeschooling, and there's some kids that will just take advantage of it and they'll learn nothing and they'll just be weird. As far as socializing, for me, I mean, even when I was going to that private school in Bristol, all of my friends were in the church.
Right.
So homeschooling, my friends were still all in the church. So there really wasn't too much of a difference. Now I saw other people less, yeah, but it also made me have to actually intentionally go and socialize. So there are kids in public school. I've never gone to public school, but I'm sure there are kids in public school who are just really weird kids, right? There's just more public schoolers than our homeschoolers. So if there's a weird homeschooler, they kind of stick out more. So there's weird public schoolers, right? And some of them go to school with 1,000 other people and they don't talk to anybody.
Right.
They're super shy. So it really just depends on the person. If a homeschooler wants to socialize, they'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Or if they don't, they'll find a way to not socialize, just like public school. So it really depends on the person.
And I think, again, lesson learned for me, right, when I met you was that at the end of the day, I think that mom and dad are also super responsible to make sure that their kids can socialize with others and kind of set up that environment to interact with other kids. And I think that's the great job that we see where, like you were talking about, right, your youth group at your church, right? There's always scenarios for you to just interact. But it's also true, I think, on the other side of it, we are also responsible at a certain extent now to, all right, let's just take that leap and start talking. I remember when we were at Indiana Bible College, and obviously, I got to be honest, when it comes to change of scenario, now you got to make new friends again. You kind of go through that, right? From elementary school to middle school to high school. I was like, oh man, I got to meet new people again. This is tough. I had all my friends. 5th grade, okay, 6th grade, now we got more schools in the middle school, right?
Yeah.
So going to Indiana Bible College, I thought, okay, this is super exciting. I'm going after the call of God that I feel over my life, and I know He's got a purpose for me. And now I'm going to meet new people, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Let's jump in. And I remember going into, oh man, what did we call the lobby for the students?
The student lobby was called the Slob.
Slob, yes, the Slob. When we walked into the Slob and I saw all the crowd of young people, I thought, all right, where do I start? How do I even jump in here? And I remember some people there was one guy was playing the guitar, there was another group playing ping pong, another group playing some cards. And I think what I really loved about IBC was that because it was small, because it was only about 200, almost 300 students in the whole school, you really had the opportunity to get to know each and every person as much as you can individually, right? When it's such a huge school, which I have no problem with, but it's, obviously you're not going to get to know everyone. So I think on that side of it, I really enjoyed IBC. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the show today. If you enjoyed it, make sure to follow us and subscribe so you can stay up to date with the newest episodes, and follow us on all social media platforms. So check out the links below.